Will AI take my job? I mean, let's be honest, it's the question on pretty much everyone's mind, right? It's this constant hum of anxiety in the background of our careers. We keep hearing about these massive job losses, about entire professions just vanishing overnight. Okay, let's really dive into this because I think a reality check is desperately needed here.
The conversation always seems to get framed as this simple choice. You're either going to be replaced by AI or you're safe. But what if that's completely the wrong way to look at it? What if the real story isn't about replacement at all, but something way more complex, more interesting? What if our jobs are being recomposed?
So, to figure this out, we're going to start high up. We're looking at a major report from the Upwork Research Institute, In Demand Skills 2026. This gives us that big picture, 30,000-foot view. It shows us what the data says businesses are actually hiring for, right now in the middle of this whole AI revolution. But of course, data alone doesn't tell the whole story, does it? So we're going to pair that high-level view with a voice from the trenches. It's an article from the creative agency BRAEID. They work in video editing, a field that's supposed to be ground zero for AI disruption. And they're going to show us what all this actually looks and feels like on the ground for real people and real businesses.
All right, first up, let's look at that big picture. The main idea that's coming out of this massive Upwork data set isn't replacement. It's this idea of recomposition.
So what on earth is recomposition? Well, it's the idea that AI isn't really wiping out jobs, it's just changing their shape. Think of AI as this new layer, an overlay being placed on top of roles that already exist. Businesses aren't firing their graphic designers, they're looking for graphic designers who also know how to use AI tools. The core work is still there, but how we do it is evolving. And wow, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at this. The demand for skills that specifically mention AI shot up by a staggering 109% in 1 year. But, and this is the important part, look at the other bar. Demand for other key skills is still growing at a really healthy 23%. So the crazy growth is in applying AI within existing fields, not in just getting rid of them. And what's really incredible is just how stable these top in-demand skills are. You've got full-stack development, graphic design, SEO, video editing. I mean, these are the very jobs that all the headlines said were on the chopping block. But the data shows that nope, businesses are still hiring for them and at a huge scale. The engine is still human-led work. And they're not just hiring for these skills, get this. They're actually willing to pay more for the human element. Nearly half of all business leaders say they would pay a premium for talent that brings genuine creativity and innovation to the table. So as AI handles more of the grunt work, our uniquely human skills, they're becoming more valuable, not less. The report just sums it up perfectly. The demand for skilled people isn't going anywhere. It's just being recomposed. So the data gives us this pretty optimistic, stable picture of the future. But is it the full picture? Okay, let's pivot to our case study. We're zooming in now from that 30,000-foot view to see what's really happening on the ground in the world of video editing. It's the perfect test case for all this AI-driven change. Right, so here's the crucial point. While Upwork's data shows the demand for video editors is still strong, the article from BRAEID reveals this subtle but really critical shift. The story isn't just about whether the jobs exist. It's about how the work itself is being defined and, more importantly, how it's being valued. According to BRAEID, the market is basically fractured into 3 different tiers. At the very bottom, you've got this massive explosion of low-cost, one-off tasks. Like making quick social media clips. The middle is getting really squeezed, with talented editors all competing on who can be the fastest. But it's at the top, where something new and interesting is happening. Strategic partnerships, where the focus is all on long-term consistency and value. And this really gets to the core problem with that bottom part of the market. For businesses that just keep hiring one-off freelancers, the hidden cost isn't money, it's attention. Every single new project means you have to re-explain the brand, the goals, the tone. Nothing ever builds on itself. You just get a pile of disconnected outputs, not a cohesive body of work. This brings us to where these two perspectives meet. The real shift we're seeing isn't from human to AI. It's from doing isolated tasks to building an integrated strategy. Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got that old model, reactive, inconsistent, one-off tasks. On the right, you have this new model that BRAEID is talking about, owning the video layer. This is about building a system where every single piece of content is intentional and it builds on the last. It's the difference between just renting someone to do a task and actually partnering with a strategist. And this all leads to the solution, a human-in-the-loop model. This isn't about humans trying to compete with AI. It's about pairing powerful AI tools with experienced human judgment. Yeah, the AI can make things faster, but a human provides the strategic direction, the taste, and makes sure it all actually lines up with what the business is trying to achieve. So let's bring this all home. What does this actually mean for you? How do you navigate this recomposed human plus AI future of work? So how do you thrive in all this? Well, the path forward is actually pretty clear. For individuals, for freelancers, the advice is to upskill with AI inside your existing niche. Don't just go learn AI. Learn how AI can make you a better video editor or a more efficient developer. And critically, focus on showing off those invaluable human skills, creativity, reliability, and strategic thinking. And for businesses, don't just chase the shiny new AI toy. Instead, layer AI onto your people strategy to make your team more productive and, frankly, better at their jobs. Ultimately, I think it all comes down to this one question. An AI can execute a task. Sure, it can edit a clip, write some code, or design a logo, but can it build a legacy? Can it understand a long-term vision and make sure every single piece of work contributes to it? The future doesn't belong to the fastest task doer. It belongs to those who understand the difference between an output and an outcome.